Well, bad guys, good guys. It's all relative in the world of The Last of Us.
I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You survived because of me.
It wasn't worth it.
We really try to humanize everybody, to say everybody has a real objective. They're trying to keep themselves safe.
They are nested with sin.
How do we humanize them? Right now you're seeing one aspect of them, so they might come off as, okay, these are the bad, cultish people.
I'm gonna find and I'm gonna kill every last one of them.
Last of Us has always had an interesting correlation between you and the opposing factions you fight against. Yes, the enemies try to shoot you, stab you, beat you in all hopes to try and kill you, but at the end of the day, they are just like you. People struggling to survive in a world that's robbed them of everything. Nobody is evil, just survivors. This even includes the cult in Last of Us Part 2 that has adopted the name Seraphite. These people are gruesome with traditions that will spook us to the core. In this video we will analyze and break down the cult that we will be fighting against. Are they truly evil, and what separates the cult from other factions we fight against? My name is John Ford, the High Pitch Gamer, and join the family by hitting that subscribe button. Let's get right into it. First, what separates the Seraphites from other factions that we know about? The other factions we are aware of is the military police, ran by the government to maintain order with the civilians in a martial law type of environment. Smugglers, which is what Joel, Tess, and Bill are. Hunters, who are people that rebelled against the military in their respective zones and now hunt civilians and the military police. The bandits, which is a large group of people that hold down zones for themselves and steal from other groups, like the people who attacked Tommy's Dam. And lastly, you have the Fireflies, who fight to cure the plague from the world and hope for a better tomorrow. So how do the Seraphites differ from these other groups? First, their traditions. All the other groups are pretty much the same with the way they do things. They have a role and perform their own task. However, the Seraphites do things a little differently. Their traditions represent law and order within the faction. Law and order barely exist in the other factions. You can identify who belongs to which faction by the clothes they wear, but the Seraphites are different. Their traditions include the following. Males in the groups must have shaven heads, and the women's hair must be braided. Real life factions like the United States military shave their heads as well. They do this to show you that you are the same as your comrades. If they die, you die. You are one unit under the US military. This could be the same thing with the Seraphites. The Seraphites are one unit under the religion they follow. Protect your brother and sister, for under their religion, that's who they are. This mentality does not exist in the other factions in the Last of Us world. Yes, they work together, but no faction can get as close as to what's being portrayed in the Seraphites faction. You have no individuality. You are your unit. It seems under the title of religion, the Seraphites must have brought themselves closer together, more than a partnership, but a community. This makes sense in gameplay as well. Neil and the other members of the Naughty Dog development team already said that the AIs will call each other by name and communicate more. The next tradition is hanging their targets by a rope around their neck and disemboweling them. They do this because the target are sinners, or as we heard in the trailer, they are nested with sin.
They are nested with sin.
We never see anything like this in the past. The closest thing we saw to this type of killing was the hunters hanging the dead corpses of military police as a way to scare off their opponents. But this ritual-like kill seems more than that. This is done because they believe that their targets are nested with sin. Doing this is a way to free their targets of their sins, to provide salvation, and to uplift their own religion. This cult is pushing for. Killing in the name of religion does a few things to the person doing the killing, while everyone else in the world must carry the guilt that comes from ending a life. Doing this relieves the person of all guilt and moral responsibility. committing these acts for a higher power. This is something the other factions lack. Some people are horrified at the things that they've done. Take Tommy for example. He still has nightmares from his days being a hunter with Joel.
This is how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you.
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it? I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You survived because of me.
It wasn't worth it.
His morality has taken a blow. However, doing something not for yourself but to serve something much greater, it serves as a way to not feel bad. The only other time we see this kind of resolve was with the Fireflies. The Fireflies has been sacrificing the people who are immune to the infected in order to try to find the cure. If you guys didn't know, Ellie wasn't the only person in the world who was immune to the infection. There were a ton of other people, but the Fireflies will willingly sacrifice any of them if they're women, men, even children like Ellie. Humans love having something to blame. If they're doing heinous acts but in the willingness of pushing forward their own agendas such as religion or curing the world, they would gladly do it and not feel very bad about it. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they tell themselves, we're doing this for this purpose. So the Firefly sacrificing kids, teens, whatever, if you're immune, they will go as far as to take you even by force. The Seraphites tell themselves they're doing this because the people are nested with sin. The people who betray them are sinners, therefore they must cleanse the world. That's the point of sin. Last of their traditions that we know about is the scars. Not all members, but a lot of them have them, as if they're all Keith Ledger fans. Perhaps to get these scars, you have to prove yourself. Do something to earn the scars, which represent the final stages of the cult. All of these traditions greatly separate anything we've seen in other factions around the Last of Us world. That's going to be it for this video. I'm going to make a part 2 to it, a follow-up to this video, because there is a lot more information I want to talk about them, but I don't want this video to be on too long, so definitely hit that subscribe button to know when I make a follow-up video further analyzing the Seraphites. Next, I want to go into some biblical talk about them, because there are some references to the name, so definitely subscribe to check that out. I'll have it posted at least tomorrow or something. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Deuces.